Flash flooding and water rescues happening right now. The area's still in the path of dangerous storms and the hour-by-hour timeline when the front moves out. Tonight, an arrest after this bus assault goes viral. We'll hear from the person who caught it all on camera. And an 83-year-old woman murdered. Her killer still on the loose.
How could anyone in the world kill an 83-year-old woman?
The neighbors who knew her praying for a breakthrough.
Fox 45 News at 10 starts now.
All right, good evening, folks. If you've looked outside or stepped out there, you know the drill tonight. Wicked weather flooding Maryland at the beginning of the holiday weekend. Take a look at this video. It's from Carson's Run. You can see water rushing over the road and through a guardrail, making it incredibly dangerous for drivers, and this is what they were facing tonight. Big problems along Interstate 95 tonight. This is a look at the traffic camera. Some lanes near South Caton Avenue have been shut down. High water is blocking drivers' paths. Some traffic is still getting through, as you can see on the right side of your screen. Pennsylvania is also seeing an incredible amount of rain this evening. This picture was taken along Route 30 near Interstate 83 in Pennsylvania. Water completely covered roads there, stopping traffic in its path. We have live team coverage tonight of flooding throughout the area. Meteorologist Ashley Kramlich will join us live in just a few minutes to show us where the storms are right now. But first, we start with Alexa Ashwell, who's live in Cresswell, where crews are looking for two people apparently swept away by the rushing waters. Alexa?
Yes, Kai, this is a very fluid and developing situation. Right now, even police are trying to confirm what actually happened here in Cresswell. I'm standing in what was a staging area not far away from Calvary Road and James Run Road. Go ahead and show you some video we shot when we first arrived there. This is the location police are talking about. This is where they got reports of a car swept away by those heavy rain waters, those flood waters. Police are still working to confirm if in fact at least two people were swept away. Harford County Fire and EMS not long ago putting out a message on Facebook and Twitter saying no one found as of yet, still unconfirmed. So we had the staging area here, and at the time, police and fire were trying to work out who was in command, and we were just told minutes ago that, in fact, we need to go to the police barracks, and that will be the staging area. So very fluid. We're trying to find out if police are definitely sure that two people were swept away in the car, certainly looking for a car, but no confirmation as of yet. We, of course, will continue to follow any and all developments in this breaking story. For now, reporting live in Cresswell, Alexa Ashwell, Fox 45 News.
Alexa, thank you. Meantime, meteorologist Ashley Kramlich joins us now. So, Ashley, where is this rain?
We are still seeing a few storms in the area, but it's starting to die down just a little bit. I want to go ahead and talk about our watches and warnings this evening. Still a flash flood warning for Baltimore County, Baltimore City, and Anne Arundel County, and that is until midnight tonight. Not anticipating more really heavy rainfall for Baltimore County and Baltimore City, but we're starting to see some more heavy rain making its way through Anne Arundel County as we go into the rest of our evening hours. Still looking at an aerial flood warning. What that is basically a bigger area that is still under the threat for flooding. So even though we're not talking about flash flooding for Harford County, we are still going to be looking at high water on the roads out there. So you need to be taking it safe if you are planning on driving within the next few hours or so. So there's that heavy rainfall making its way over the central portions of Anne Arundel County. Annapolis seeing some really heavy rainfall there. As far as Harford County, that rain beginning to let up a bit, and we will continue to see that trend as we go throughout the rest of our evening hours. More rain, unfortunately, in our Labor Day weekend forecast, and we'll look at just how much rain we've already received tonight and how much rain we are expecting over the next few days in just a few short minutes. Kai, back to you.
Ashley, thank you. Today, neighbors of 83-year-old Dorothy Mae Neal gathered to pray for peace and for police to find her killer. The West Baltimore woman was found Wednesday lying on the floor from an attack. She was taken to the hospital where she died Thursday. Police say there was no sign of forced entry.
A hug will not bring the family back, but a hug will give the family members a sense.
Well, police are offering a reward for anyone with information that could lead to an arrest in Dorothy Mae Miller's murder. In Baltimore County tonight, police have arrested a man in connection with the death of a toddler earlier this week in Lansdowne. 25-year-old Shaquille Griffin is charged with leaving a firearm where a minor could gain access to it and numerous other charges. In fact, Fox45 is told Griffin was sleeping in a spare bedroom at the home on Barrow Road when 2-year-old Ty Flint entered the room, found Griffin's handgun and fired it, shooting himself in the head. Griffin then fled the scene with the gun but was arrested today, according to police. It is a day of mourning across the nation today. On the left, Senator John McCain honored at the Capitol Rotunda today. On the right, the nation mourns the loss of the Queen of Soul, Aretha Franklin. First tonight, thousands of people lined up for blocks outside of the U.S. Capitol to say goodbye to Senator John McCain as officials, relatives, and friends paid tribute to the Vietnam veteran and longtime senator lying in the state under the dome. He's the 31st person to lie in state at the Rotunda. It's a tribute normally reserved for government officials and military officers.
I will miss a dear friend whose smile reminded us that service is a privilege, and whose scars reminded us of the great cost that brave souls pay for our freedom.
There are also complete strangers, people who never got a chance to know Senator John McCain of Arizona, but admired him from afar, hoping to get up close even for a brief moment. Annalisa Gale from our sister station outside of Washington, D.C. with these stories.
It'll be one of the highlights of my life that I tell my great-grandkids about. I'm definitely going to tell my grandkids about it this week when I get back to Myrtle Beach.
One of the first in line to honor Senator John McCain was Army veteran Greg Brock from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. In his hand was a photo of the two together. Why is this so special to you?
I have a few with him, but this is when he was running for in 2008. I was at his rally in Jacksonville, Florida, and just to stop and talk to him. You know, I believe he'd have a conversation with anybody, but when you say fellow veteran, he just stops and says, "What's going on?" That's what Senator McCain was. He was I think he was a father's father, brother's brother, and a soldier's soldier, all in one.
Brock was one of dozens of veterans who took the time out to pay their respects, waiting hours in line.
I feel that is some moment that will be with me forever, and because I cherish it, I guess the senator's service, both in the Navy as well as in the Senate.
What was it about John McCain that you appreciated so much?
He spoke his mind. He was not afraid to cross the aisle.
For many like Brock, Friday was about getting one last chance to be in McCain's presence.
Senator John McCain will make a brief stop at the Vietnam Veterans Memorial for a short ceremony before going to the National Cathedral tomorrow. McCain will be buried at the Naval Academy in Annapolis on Sunday. Former presidents and preachers joined a parade of singers today to say goodbye to Aretha Franklin. The service lasted more than 7 hours and gave the Queen of Soul the respect that she was famous for. Mike Woolfolk shows us the emotional service.
They came from far and wide to honor a music legend, Aretha Franklin. Greater Grace Temple filled with major celebrities, a former president, and ordinary fans. Singer Ariana Grande paying tribute to the Queen, singing a signature song, Natural Woman. Grande, one among many stars performing. Motown legend Smokey Robinson, after making remarks, sang a special farewell to his lifelong friend.
I know that my love for you will never end.
And gospel greats, the Clark sisters, brought the house down. The Reverend Al Sharpton read a statement from former President Barack Obama. Barbara Sampson read a statement from former President George W. Bush. Former President Bill Clinton spoke in person.
And decided to be the composer of her own life song. And what a song it turned out to be.
Outside the church, hours before the service starts, A parade of pink Cadillacs, more than 100 from across the country, arrive as a special tribute. And the likes of actress Jennifer Lewis and Pastor Shirley Caesar enter the church, all to pay tribute to Aretha. Franklin's grandchildren also offered reflections.
It feels amazing to see a woman so fierce.
And I promise to carry our family legacy with pride and joy. Long live the Queen.
Radiation underground and in the sky, and amongst embers who live nearby are.
Aretha Franklin's son, Edward, singing that wonderful tribute to his mother. The family did open this service to the public today, allowing up to 2,000 people to attend the service. Aretha Franklin's final resting place is at Detroit's Woodlawn Cemetery, entombed alongside her father and her 3 siblings.
Well, the clock is ticking for NFL teams to trim their 90-player rosters to 53 by the close of business Saturday. Last night's preseason game against Washington was the Ravens' final chance to determine their 2018 roster before Week 1. Morgan Atza joins us now with a Ravens report. Morgan?
The Ravens cut a total of 9 players, waived 1 more with injury, so 10 are gone, 4 landed on the IR, and 3 remain on the physically unable to perform list. No roster cuts today are shocking. No key names and no draft picks. The Ravens are almost there. They have to be down to a 53-man roster by 4 p.m. Saturday. On Sunday, they can add 10 players to their practice squad. After last night's preseason game against the Redskins, where the Ravens won 30-20 and continued their preseason streak of no losses in 3 years, they basically know what they want to do. No one won a job, no one lost a job in that one performance. A total of 5 preseason games and the longest training camp in the league. That's what will form this roster for Week 1.
I'm personally very, very proud of these guys, and our coaches feel the same way. It's been a pleasure and an honor coaching these guys. We've had these guys for a long time. But obviously, you go back to the OTAs, but start with the longest training camp in the National Football League. You go back to the Bears and all the way through. Every single one of our guys played Ravens football. And that's what, as a coach, you take pride in. That's what this part of it really is all about.
A closer look at those 10 roster moves made today and what sitting RG3 last night means for the future, his future with the Ravens. That's later in Sports Unlimited.
Thank you, Morgan. The Baltimore County College student takes legal action after surviving that deadly shooting at a Jacksonville, Florida gaming competition. Coming up, who he's suing and what his attorney says his client wants to change. Getting your child immunized, yet sacrificing your own health. Coming up, what doctors say you need to do to protect yourself and your family in tonight's Sinclair Cares report. Flash flooding pounds the Maryland region. Fox 45 has reporters covering this story. Coming up, updates on water rescues, flood damage, and when this system moves out of our area.
And it was a stormy start to our holiday weekend. Showers and storms still in the vicinity for tonight. I am tracking an end to some of this rain, but unfortunately we are going to be looking at another chance of some heavy rainfall in our upcoming forecast. I'll tell you when that arrives and what you can expect the rest of this weekend in just a few minutes.
A new state commission is in place to investigate the corrupt Baltimore Police Gun Trace Task Force. That commission is made up of lawyers, former police, and a private citizen from West Baltimore. The job? To investigate the gun squad that robbed citizens and committed overtime fraud for years inside of the Baltimore Police Department. A final report from the commission is due by the end of 2019. A survivor of the Parkland, Florida mass shooting in February is trying to help the victims of the Jacksonville, Florida shooting. According to published reports, Cameron Caskey is organizing a video game live stream to raise money for the victims of the Jacksonville shooting on Saturday. Caskey was a student at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High when 17 students and teachers were killed in February. David Katz of Baltimore killed 2 players at the Madden competition, then himself, according to police. 9 others were wounded in the attack. Money raised from Caskey's Jacksonville Fallen Gamers event will cover expenses for the victims. We've learned a Towson University student is one of the victims injured in that shooting at Jacksonville, Florida gaming competition. 2 people were killed, 10 others hurt. Shelley Orman reports instead of starting his junior year at Towson this week, Jacob Mitch is back home in Maryland, recovering after being shot twice.
He's a sharp kid, and but he's, it's still too fresh.
Jacksonville attorney James Young is representing Jacob Middich.
He has appointments scheduled with mental health counselors to talk about the trauma and PTSD and whatnot.
The 23-year-old Harford County native was shot twice Sunday.
Leg and lower back.
As he competed in the Madden gaming tournament. Young says Middich's personal injury lawsuit is also seeking protection for future gamers.
Injunction, which will require EA for any future Madden event or any of their gaming events and tournaments to provide a safe and secure space. So it's not just about recompensing him for his damages, but also importantly about making sure that gamers have a safe space to compete in.
In a 49-page filing submitted last night, Young claims the gaming company did not secure the space properly, something gamers at that tournament have spoken out about.
I've been telling them this for a while, that we need, you need to make the players feel safe.
EA Sports has donated $1 million to the victims and is hosting a streamed tribute next week to remember the victims.
These are people that gaming was a huge part of their life, and I know for Jake, he's not, plugged back in and participated in any type of gaming activities, and it doesn't think he will. And so it's taken away that source of enjoyment in their hobby and their lifestyle.
This weekend, Middich will be attending the funeral of Taylor Robertson, one of the victims killed on Sunday. Robertson, who was from West Virginia, was one of his best friends. In Towson, Shelley Warman, Fox 45 News.
Labor Day weekend marks the unofficial end of the traditional beach and boating season, and the Coast Guard is encouraging boaters in the mid-Atlantic region to use caution while out on the water, especially since there have been 14 boating deaths in Maryland this year. That's compared to 9 all of last year. If you have water plans this weekend, there are some tips for boaters to remember to stay safe on the water. Wear a life jacket, regardless of how well you think you can swim. Keep a radio on board and waterproof phones. Look out for other boaters, paddlecraft, as well as swimmers. Designate a sober skipper, meaning don't drive a boat if you're under the influence. And finally, watch the weather. Well, video just into Fox 45 newsroom right now near the Harford County and Baltimore County lines. Storms are blamed for these downed trees on Pleasantville Road. Crews were putting out flares to alert drivers of that hazard on the dark road. And a reminder for you, if you're out tonight, be sure to use caution as you're driving and drive a little slower than normal. You might not know if you're running into standing water or some downed trees or power lines. Time for a check on our weather and that weather system that's out there tonight. Here's meteorologist Ashley Krentlick.
Yes, Kai, all good information. We received some significant rain totals from these storms that rolled in. I want to go ahead and show you this. Most of this rain fell around 3 to 10 p.m. tonight. Over an inch recorded here in Baltimore. Over 2 inches in Annapolis, and Bel Air came in at a whopping almost 5 inches of rain. And that's not even where the heaviest rain fell in Harford County. That was along the eastern side. So we probably saw even higher amounts in those areas. I want to go ahead and take you through our radar over the past few hours. This is 4 p.m. Heavy rain setting up over the eastern portions of Harford County. Fast forwarding the clocks to around 6 o'clock. Still seeing that heavy rainfall, and it's starting to sink farther south as we are entering into our dinner time hours. Heavy rainfall still sitting over Harford County at 7 p.m. Starting to see that line form over Westminster and just north of Cockeysville. It doesn't begin to exit Harford County really until 8:30, and then that's when Baltimore, we started to see the heavy rain, and now that heavy rainfall is making its way over Annapolis. So very heavy rainfall right now, and some good bit of lightning with that storm currently. Still some flash flood warnings and watches this evening. We are still not out of the woods with this flooding threat, even though these storms are beginning to die down. More rain is on the way. I'll break down the timeline in just a few minutes. Kai?
All right, Ashley, thank you. Fox 45 is an update to a viral video of a woman smashing out windows of a Greyhound bus in D.C. Coming up, the woman police have in custody and the charges she's facing. Baltimore City leaders go to bat for kids during sweltering weather, why some council members say pools need to open to help citizens cool off. That story coming up. And getting yourself immunized at the same time you vaccinate your kids, why doctors say it's an important part of protecting yourself and your family. That story coming up in tonight's Sinclair Cares Report. Parents are often so concerned about their children's immunizations, they often neglect their own vaccines. Well, working in partnership with our parent company, Sinclair Broadcast Group, we want to keep you informed about important health matters. We believe it's our responsibility and privilege. In this Sinclair Cares report, Jay Siltzer shows us what you need to do to get your immunizations up to date.
Immunizations aren't just for kids, but many adults forget that.
What we choose for ourselves also impacts our children, right? So if I do a good job and I get my flu vaccine, that's protecting me, but it's also protecting my children or my grandchildren or the children I come into contact in the grocery store or wherever I'm going out in the communities.
In addition to an annual flu vaccine, health officials say adults need a tetanus booster every 10 years. Plus, people 50 and older are urged to get a shingles vaccine, while people 65 and older should get vaccinated to help prevent bacterial pneumonia. Hepatitis A and B immunizations are also recommended for adults. Do you get your flu shot every year?
Yes, I do.
Okay. You've had your tetanus shot?
Yes.
Shingles vaccine?
Yes.
Hep A and Hep B?
Yes.
You are up to date.
I am.
I would say once people leave school and maybe leave college, it's not like they carry around a shot record with them. And so a lot of people don't know what their immunization status is.
No, I'm not keeping up with them.
Most people aren't.
Yeah.
Flu shots, you get that?
No, I don't.
So you're not up to date?
No, I guess not.
This 35-page report from the Centers for Disease Control puts it all in perspective. In fact, on any given year, only about 45% of people get a flu shot. What's more, 1/3 are out of compliance in terms of their tetanus vaccine. To bring the numbers up, health officials recommend seeing the same provider annually, discussing vaccinations during the visit, and making them a priority to improve your health and the health of those around you. For Sinclair Cares, I'm Jay Siltzer.
For more information about adult vaccines, go to foxbaltimore.com/newslinks. The president's plan to stop federal pay raises is criticized by Maryland leaders. Coming up, what Governor Hogan and Congressman Cummings want to see happen. It's called International Overdose Awareness Day, and it is nothing to celebrate. Still ahead, why city, state, and federal leaders say this public health crisis is prompting a new call to action. What some Maryland leaders plan to do, coming up. An arrest in a apparent case of road rage in D.C. The viral video of a woman attacking a Greyhound bus and the charges she's now facing.
And we are ending out summer on a stormy note. A stationary front remaining over us, leading to rounds of rain. I'll break down the timeline of when we can see more storms this weekend and what our Labor Day forecast looks like in just a few minutes.
New at 10:30 tonight, take a look at this wild scene in Washington, D.C. A woman smashes the windows of a Greyhound bus. Passengers start screaming, and then the woman is seen driving off with a guy on the hood of a car. Brad Bell of our sister station in Washington is the only reporter to speak with the passenger who recorded the entire thing.
Area. Are you kidding me?
Swings her car's jack again and again, shattering the windows and mirror of a Greyhound bus. Passengers screaming out. One of them, Juan Blanco, recording it all.
Road rage, I've never seen something like it.
The video gets even more shocking. The woman goes back to her car. Look at the man in the blue shirt blocking her way. That's the bus driver calling 911. She rams him. Then things grow even more bizarre. As Blanco and other motorists try to intervene, the woman goes after the driver again. He jumps up onto her hood.
Oh, the passengers on the bus were all really scared, and the majority were elderly.
According to Blanco and police, it all began here last night at 6 at this intersection in northeast D.C. when the woman tried to cut in front of the bus. The vehicles made contact, the drivers exchanged words, and the woman in the Audi went into a rage. At one point, before the video, using a baseball bat and trying to get into the bus.
Yo, leave him! Leave him alone! Leave him alone!
The bus driver not backing down, repeatedly jumping on the woman's hood, until this happens.
Watch out, man!
Yo!
Police say they now know who the woman is, but have not yet brought her into custody. The bus driver, a 59-year-old from Chesterfield, Virginia, was not seriously hurt in the episode, which has now become a viral video. In Northeast D.C., Brad Bell, Fox 45.
Now, we've just learned police have arrested the suspect in that video. Police say 20-year-old Mariana Silver of Northeast Washington, D.C., illegally passed the bus along Bladensburg Road and sideswiped another driver in the process. Police have charged a Baltimore County man in a road rage shooting that blocked traffic on 895 earlier this month. Maryland State and MDTA police say Jamal Norton is responsible for 2 road rage incidents, one in Howard County and one in Baltimore City. Both happened August 6th. Police say he shot into a car, injuring a driver after an altercation near the Baltimore Harbor Tunnel Toll Plaza. Hours later, police say he pointed a gun at a driver in Howard County. Norton is being held without bail on multiple charges, including attempted first-degree murder. New video released by police today shows the moments before the Austin serial bomber killed himself. And we want to warn you, this video is disturbing. You're watching the end of that pursuit from back in March. The Austin Police Department follow Mark Condit, stopping along Interstate 35. They eventually stop his vehicle, and as they approach it, there's an explosion. Condit dies in that blast. The officers near the blast were not seriously hurt. There's that blast. Condit was accused of killing 2 people in a series of explosions. We have breaking news right now for you. Fox 45's Alexa Ashwell is live in Cresswell tonight, where crews are searching for 2 people apparently swept away by the rushing floodwaters there. Let's go back to Alexa for an update. Alexa?
Akai, in fact, just minutes ago, Maryland State Police confirmed they are looking for 3 people reportedly swept away by floodwaters here in Cresswell. I want to give you an idea of where we are. This is Calvary Road, and you can see first responders there. They have closed the section of Calvary at Shucks Road, but where this all occurred is not far down near James Run Road. I want to go ahead and show you some video we shot earlier tonight. This is where we're told this occurred. Now, according to Maryland State Police, about 6 o'clock this evening, there was a vehicle that became disabled on the bridge. A truck came upon that disabled vehicle, and we're told a female passenger got out of the truck in an attempt to help. We're told that woman was swept away by floodwaters. A short time later, we're told the disabled vehicle was also swept away by floodwaters, and we're told 2 people were inside of that vehicle. We're told the driver of the truck then drove to a nearby quarry trying to find those 3 people, but was unsuccessful. And here we are right now. So again, just minutes ago, Maryland State Police confirming they are searching for 3 people reportedly swept away by floodwaters here in Cresswell. Kai, back to you.
All right, Alexa, thank you. Governor Larry Hogan is criticizing President Trump's plan to cancel pay raises for federal civilian employees. He responded to the announcement on Twitter, saying the president's proposal to eliminate these pay raises is simply wrong. I urge Congress to take bipartisan action to protect these hardworking employees and keep the promises made to them. A 2.1% across-the-board increase was set to take effect in January, but late yesterday, the president announced plans to eliminate the raise, plus another increase based on where workers live. Congress could overrule the president, and if lawmakers pass a spending bill, that includes a federal pay raise. Both Maryland's U.S. senators, along with Governor Hogan, are criticizing President Trump after canceling that scheduled pay raise for civilian employees. An across-the-board increase of just more than 2%, again, was supposed to take effect in January, along with an annual adjustment of pay based on workers' location. The president says he canceled the increase because of budget constraints. Congressman Elijah Cummings is among those speaking out against the president.
We have a lot of federal employees in Maryland and right in the Baltimore area at Social Security. And so they will be denied the pay raise that they deserve. Some kind of way, and I'm hoping that Democrats do take over the House. We've got to slow President Trump down.
A growing number of people whose official birth records show that they were born in the United States are reportedly being denied passports and unable to get into the country. Fox correspondent Casey Stiegel explains.
Immigration lawyers across South Texas say they've recently become overwhelmed with a spike in cases of American citizens who've either been denied U.S. passports or had their valid ones revoked.
Who are we really protecting? Are we protecting the American citizens? Because in this case, we're actually deporting the American citizens.
The ACLU says it's hearing from a variety of South Texans, especially in border communities. People who are U.S. citizens with U.S. birth certificates who are stuck in Mexico because their passports were taken while trying to re-enter the country. Or claims that some are even being held at immigrant detention centers until their birth records are verified.
But now they're seeing the administration actually fighting these cases and taking them to trial. That's a huge issue.
The U.S. State Department is pushing back on those claims and the Washington Post's first reporting of the story. In a statement, Heather Nauert, spokesperson for the department, says, quote, "This is an irresponsible attempt to create division and stoke fear among American citizens while attempting to inflame tension over immigration." South Texas, the State Department says, is where fraudulent birth documents have been found, issued by specific doctors and midwives along the Texas-Mexico border. Nauert adds, quote, "Under the Trump administration, domestic passport denials for so-called midwife cases are at a 6-year low." Lawyers with the ACLU now say they are exploring their legal options. They recently celebrated a victory by successfully suing and halting the separation of immigrant children from their parents at the border this past summer. It's the latest from Dallas. Casey Stiegel, Fox News.
All right, Fox 45 will have more news coming up after this break. Stay with us. Right now on Fox 45, today is International Overdose Awareness Day to call attention to the public health crisis. John Rydell reports on what local and federal officials are trying to do to address this serious problem.
We are experiencing the pain of losing our loved ones.
Dr. Lena Wen says International Overdose Awareness Day is not just about remembering the many victims. It's a call to action. In the past year, there were 761 overdose deaths in Baltimore City alone, and nearly 600 died of fentanyl poisoning.
Now, these numbers are terrifying, and they're frustrating. They're terrifying because they keep on increasing, and public health experts will tell you that we haven't even reached the peak of this epidemic. We don't know where that peak is going to be.
So city officials say if the battle to reduce drug addiction is to succeed, it will require more funding at the state and federal level. Congressman Elijah Cummings says Congress is now considering what's called the CARE Act, a major initiative to provide grants for local treatment centers.
What the CARE Act would do would give them those wraparound services, dedicate $100 billion over 10 years so that we can get to those organizations like the ones that are represented behind me so that they can truly touch those who may be addicted.
Yet another attempt to reverse this terrible national epidemic. In Baltimore, John Rydell, Fox 45 News.
Making small changes to the times you eat breakfast and dinner could help reduce body fat. Researchers studied 2 groups of people. One group had a delay of eating breakfast by 90 minutes, and they ate dinner 90 minutes earlier. Those who changed their meal times lost more than twice as much body fat as those who had meals at their normal times. They found those who changed their meal times ate less food overall than those in the other group. From in-depth medical investigations to reporting from dangerous war zones, Full Measure has traveled the world to bring you original reports that you won't find anywhere else. Well, this week, a special edition of Full Measure as Cheryl Atkinson and the show's 3 correspondents got together to talk about the most important and impactful stories of the 3rd season.
A recurring topic of high interest to our viewers is the swamp. We all work in Washington, D.C. We hear about that as much as any story, perhaps. One of the things that we found was there are Republican members of Congress criticizing their own leadership for what we call the swamp. Just the way you describe it, it's troubling. Is Congress broken?
Congress doesn't stand up for itself. I think it's really lost its way.
I've not heard another sitting member of Congress talk about these things. What happens to you now because of this?
You know, I didn't come here with any friends, Cheryl, and I'm not going to leave with any friends, and I'm okay with that.
Well, you can watch Full Measure with Cheryl Atkinson Sunday at 10 o'clock right here on Fox 45. We have an update on your weather right now. Aberdeen police are asking drivers to stay off the roads tonight. They just posted these pictures of flooding on Robin Hood Road. That's just off Paradise Road in the county. And another scene on Maxer Road between Cronin Drive and Southgate Road. Now it's dark. The roads may not look that saturated, but it is important to turn around. As you're told, don't drown. You don't know how deep that water could be. Back to today's wicked weather. People around the region posted some incredible pictures online. We want to show some of those to you right now. Here's some of the rain that's coming around. The deluge. Rain, go away. Look at that massive deluge coming down. Here's another one. A Pee Wee League football game going on. Godson out there doing it in the rain. We're here. And here's another picture right now. Look at just how deep that water is, almost to the top of the wheel wells of these cars. This one right now, pretty serious. Again, don't take a... And here's more flooding. This was flooding along Garfield Road in Mount Joy. Another bad situation there. You can't even see the road here. Cornfields there in the distance. And one last picture. This is pretty much an area, a little overpass, a little bridge kind of washed out at the top of your screen right here. If you can safely get some pictures or video, please send them to us here at Fox 45. Just tap Chime In on your Fox 45 app. Meantime, let's get a detailed look at your weekend forecast with meteorologist Ashley Cranley. Ashley?
Well, Kai, I think we will still keep those rain chances around for this weekend, but I think today was the wettest day of our holiday weekend, which is good. We still have a flash flood watch in effect for most of the area. This includes Bel Air, Hartford County, all the way down to the D.C. metro. Not anticipating much more activity for tonight, but we still have that flash flood watch until midnight. And we're also talking about an aerial flood warning. What an aerial flood warning is, compared to a flash flood warning means that you see a rise in water in a very short period of time. Aerial flood warning means that you still have those flooding concerns out there, but it's more over a widespread area and a longer period of time. So even though we don't have any flash flood warnings in effect, we still have some aerial flood warnings, so you need to be taking that seriously as we are going into the next few hours. As far as rainfall totals, we received over an inch of rain here in Baltimore. Over 3 inches of rain. That is our updated total at Annapolis, almost 3.5 inches. That was actually within the past 2 hours as that really strong storm moved in. But Bel Air, Hartford County, you were the ones that were way up in the bucket this evening. We received almost 5 inches of rain from that system today. So it all started about 4 p.m. Really heavy rainfall working its way over Hartford County, and it just kind of parked itself, especially over the eastern portions of Hartford County. That's where we saw some of the worst flooding. As of right now, starting to see die down a bit, and that will be the trend throughout the overnight hours. Still some heavy rainfall sitting over Annapolis. We did see some good lightning strikes earlier, but that's starting to wind down. So that's a good indicator that that storm is starting to die off. Some light rain still over Hartford County and Cecil County, but most of this activity is going to be coming to an end for tonight, but that does not mean we are done with the rain. Here's our big stationary front. That is just sitting over the mid-Atlantic. It's going to be remaining with us for our Saturday and into the day on Sunday, but it's going to start to weaken a bit. So we will still keep the chances of showers and thunderstorms in the mix, but I don't think it will be quite as high. Okay, playing this out for you for tonight, I think this model is slightly overdoing it just a bit on the rainfall. Not anticipating too much tonight. Tomorrow morning, maybe a stray shower, but by the afternoon, I think that's when we could see a few more scattered showers and thunderstorms. 6 p.m., this model is indicating dry conditions, but passing showers and storms will be the case throughout the evening. About a 40% coverage for your Saturday. Heading into Sunday, model is showing maybe a line of storms setting up around 7 a.m. Hartford County to areas along the eastern shore. Not going to be an all-day event. You will be getting a lot of dry time this weekend, so good for grilling. You just need to realize that we do have a few showers in the mix for our afternoon and evening hours, and maybe an isolated storm by 6 p.m. on Sunday. So just be aware of that. Temperatures across the mid-Atlantic are in the 70s this evening. We're down to 74 here in Baltimore, 70 in Bel Air, 69 though in Elkton, and 71 in Westminster. This is actually cooler than last night. We're running over 10 degrees cooler here in Baltimore, so we are cutting down on the heat for a few days, and then the 90s are going to come back. 83 for tomorrow, about a 40% chance for showers and storms. We'll call for a 40% chance on our Sunday, but it will be warmer. 87 for the high, 90 back on our Monday, and we will go into next week with those low 90s and then some cooler temperatures by the end of next week. Kai, back to you.
Ashley, thank you. Heavy rains lead to dangerous flooding and rescue crews searching for people missing in Harford County. Coming up, we'll have the latest on this dangerous and developing story tonight. Also, Disneyland isn't just for kids anymore, evidently. The new attraction that will appeal to the crowd over 21. That's coming up tonight on the Late Edition. Plus, with the final roster cuts looming, did Ravens rookie and tight end Mark Andrews do enough to earn himself a spot in the team? We hear from him next in Sports Unlimited.
Battle for the worst teams in baseball as the Orioles visit the Royals. Cedric Mullins providing the early spark, starts the game with a leadoff home run. Orioles up 1-0, but the Royals respond up 2-1 in the fifth. Hunter Dozier launches one to left for the solo home run. Right now the Royals lead 9-2 in the eighth. Roster cuts have already started around the league, and the Ravens are 18 moves away from their 53-man roster. Nothing surprising as of now in their first rounds of cuts Friday. They waived 10 players, including wide receiver DeVere Posey and defensive back Kai Nakua, who had a pick six last night against the Redskins. Corner Stanley Jean-Baptiste is heading to the IR with a broken arm. 3 Ravens remain on the PUP list. Jimmy Smith will be added to the suspended list. It took the 5th and final preseason game, but the Ravens finally got the look they wanted to see from tight end Mark Andrews. The rookie out of Oklahoma was selected in the 3rd round, has missed time in camp and preseason with minor injuries. But with first-rounder and tight end Hayden Hurst expected to miss at least 2 games, the Ravens need Andrews. Against the Redskins, he caught 3 passes for 61 yards, including a 45-yard reception from Lamar Jackson.
It feels good to kind of start getting healthy and understand the offense and just kind of feel more comfortable. And anytime you get reps in games, and this whole preseason helps so much because it allows us young guys to kind of get the feeling of the whole of the game-like atmosphere. So it's been very, very helpful.
The Williams sisters facing off in the 3rd round of the U.S. Open. Serena making quick work of Venus, winning 6-1, 6-2 in 72 minutes. Serena is now 18-12 all-time against her sister. There's another starting quarterback in the area with the last name Flacco. That's at 11:30 when Sports Unlimited continues.
Thanks, Morgan. Google apparently struck with a deal with MasterCard to track your credit card purchases without telling you. That according to Bloomberg. Google is paying MasterCard for encrypted information about purchases. Google then tries to match that information to offline purchases. It's an attempt to match purchases to clicks online, to ads. Well, to show that the advertising was effective. Google declined to comment on the partnership with MasterCard, but did say that people can opt out of ad tracking. Soon you'll have a new choice when you wake up. Your new coffee choice when the news at 10 continues. Finally tonight, Coca-Cola is apparently looking to inject some caffeine into its portfolio. The company is buying British coffee chain Costa for $5.1 billion from Britain's Whitbread. Costa is the world's 2nd largest coffee chain behind Starbucks.